So let us continue our discussion. Now we are going to discuss how to drive the IV current equation for BJT. And that is basically obtained by solving Manetti carrier diffusion equation. Just a side note, BJT device, they actually work on these Manetti carriers because these Manetti carriers are injected. So from emitter, it has holes as majority, right? But when they are injected to base, they are Manetti carriers. And this is all the game of the Manetti carriers only. And with this, when we drive these equations, we will get some idea. How can we improve the characteristic of BJT, such as gain and the frequency characteristic. And we can also have some compact model. So we would not need to solve these equations again and again. So let us look at this diagram. P plus emitter, N type base, and P type collector. And some notations are given here. Ne, right, is a doping concentration of emitter. So it is same as now this doping is acceptor type, so it's Na in emitter. So we will not use a bigger notation, we will use a smaller notation. So we know that emitter is P type, so it is acceptor type. So Ne is acceptor doping in emitter. Similarly, Nb is donor doping in base, and Nc is acceptor doping in collector. And again, D is the diffusion coefficient of Manetti carriers. So De is a diffusion coefficient of Manetti carriers will be electron. So it will Dn in emitter. Dv will be the diffusion coefficient of Manetti carriers, that is base. And Dc is again diffusion coefficient of Manetti carriers, right? So this is for Manetti carriers. Then again, tau is lifetime for Manetti carriers. So this is also for Manetti carriers. Tau E, tau B, and tau C. And from d tau is L. So L is square root of d tau. So this is a diffusion length of Manetti carriers. And Manetti carrier concentration, Ne will be N in P type emitter, right? Similarly, PV will be P type hole concentration in N type base, and NP naught will be electron concentration in collector. So there's NC naught. So just remember three things: the doping, diffusion coefficient, lifetime, diffusion length, and the Manetti carrier concentration. Now, if we apply active bias, right? So how the doping, the carrier profile will look like? So N here, P here, N here. If it is forward bias and it is reverse bias, so N and P will look like. And what about here? Correct? Because this will be depleted because this is reverse bias, right? And what will happen here? It will actually go to 0 because this is also reverse bias, right? And if base is narrow, sometimes we assume this to be straight line, right? But in reality, it is never a straight line, but it is very close to that. Because if it is a straight line, then what will happen? These two current will be same, right? So this slope has to be different. The difference of these two current, or the current as these two end, will be the recombination, right? So if tau is infinite, then of course this will be a straight line. Now this concentration value is given by N E naught exponential QV by KT, right? And if you want to write delta N, then you put -1 here. Similarly, this PV naught exponential QV EV by KT, right? And if you don't take a difference, the delta P, then you add -1 there. You can write similar expression for collector. So this will be NC naught exponential Q V CB by KT, right? If you take a difference, then -1. So now if this is reverse bias, so this will go to almost 0. So concentration will be 0, and delta n will become minus NC naught. Because delta n is n minus NC naught, right? So that is minus NC naught. Correct. And based on this carrier profile, we can write the equation of current in all three regions. So in emitter, now take a 1 minute or 2 minutes and write the equation of current. Can you recall what is the minority carrier diffusion equation? Now let us assume all the voltage drop occurs across the depletion region only. Like we assumed for PN junction, there is no drop in the neutral region or quasi neutral region. All the voltage drop is across the depletion region only. So in that case, you can write minority carrier diffusion equation as d of d2 delta n by dx square minus delta n by tau equal to 0 in emitter. You can write something with P in base, with electron in collector, right? And that will give you the expression for delta n as a function of length. And of course, here it is decided by the bias, and at infinity distance it should be 0 here, right? And with that, if you take the derivative, you will get the equation for current. Right? So let us look at these three regions individually. That's no question. Emitter region. You have the boundary condition at the junction. It is n e naught exponential QV by KT minus 1, and at infinite, this is 0. Same equation is solved for base region. Here the boundary condition is slightly different. At the base emitter junction, it is given by base emitter voltage QV by KT. At the base collector junction, it is given by the base collector bias, that is QVCB by KT. And similarly for the collector region, at the base collector junction, the value is given by base collector bias, of course, as infinite. This is 0. So delta n is 0. Please recall this delta n is 0. That means n equal to NC naught here. So based on this profile, we can write the equation of current. So due to injected electrons, you have IEN here. Due to injected holes here, you have IEP here. This is the direction of electrons, right? So direction of current will be in forward direction only. So IE and IEP will add up to give total emitter current. And the derivative is taken at x equal to 0. Now you please note the notation here also. For base region, we are using x. For emitter region, we are using x double prime. For collector, we are using x prime. And the direction also, it is increasing in positive x. X prime is also increasing in positive x. X double prime is in minus x direction, right? So that we just have to take the derivative. And IEN, because this is a slope, so it will be negative of the slope, right? Because these are electrons. For holes, this is the slope, so this should be positive actually. QA dB dP by dx, right? It's positive. I think it should be positive. Please check. And here also ICP will be the slope here at this junction, right? At this end basically. So that should also be. Now IE is defined like this, right? IC is defined like this, and IB is like this, right? So if the slope is positive, so this is holes, right? So that's negative sign is correct. Okay, because holes are decreasing, so this current will be in positive x direction because dp by dx is negative, right? And same slope taken here, so ICB will be slope at x equal to w at the end of the quasi-neutral region of the base near to the collector. So these two derivative and the difference of these two will be the base current due to recombination. And of course ICN will be the slope here, right? So that will be dnc by dx prime, right? Now please remember these comment IEN, IEP, ICP, ICN. IEN is the slope here due to injected electrons. IEP is the slope here due to injected holes. This is IEP. ICP is the again slope of the hole at the end of the base. And ICN is the slope here, right? So your IE will be IEN plus IEP. IC will be ICN plus ICP, right? And IB will be of course the difference of IE minus IC. So you can also define in terms of IEP and ICP these parameters. Now gamma is emitter injection efficiency, right? That can be written as IEP by total IE. So this can also be written as 1 over 1 plus IEN by IEP. And base transport factor is again ICP by IEP. ICP by IEP is basically the ratio of these two, right? So from holes are moving from base emitter junction to base collector junction, right? So this is ICP by IEP. And alpha is basically, it's sometimes called alpha forward bias, right? So it is basically the product of two, base transport and emitter injection efficiency. Of course, we have alpha forward, we will have alpha reverse also, right? So reverse is basically when you operate this BJT in inverse active mode. So then you will have those similar term like injection efficiency for collector. And of course, because it is not designed that way, so it will be different. It will not be as good as the forward active mode. And beta is of course alpha by 1 minus alpha. And IE, IC and IB. Okay, this we have discussed. Now, from the consultation profile, we can get the expression for all these four components: IEP, IEN, ICP, ICN. So for emitter and collector region, so this is for emitter region, this for collector region. And when you solve it, the magnetic carrier diffusion equation, you will have these two terms, but this is basically one way. So you can ignore one term, right? You can ignore this one. You will only have e to the power minus xyl. And that will be profile. Then when you take the derivative, you get IEN. So IEN is QA d by LE, because if you take the derivative, it will become 1 by L. So this will come here, and the rest thing is reproduced. Similarly for ICN, same thing here, 1 by LC, and the delta n at the junction, NC naught 1 minus exponential QC by KT. So IEN and ICN we have obtained from the holes injected into the emitter, sorry, electron injected into the emitter, or electron extracted from the collector. For IEP and ICP, we will obtain from the holes in the base region. So in base region, of course, both sides there is a junction, right? So if you forwardwise this one, the concentration will be higher here. If you reverse wise, concentration will be lower here. If you forwardwise both, right, the concentration will be high on both sides. If you forwardwise the base collector, reverse wise the base emitter, it will invert it, right? But the slope of these two slope, right, will give you the IEP and ICP, right? So for that we will have to use the general expression, exponential x by L plus exponential minus x by L. And when we use a boundary condition at x equal to 0 and at x equal to W, so at x equal to 0, um, uh, the excess whole concentration will be A1 plus A2. At W, it will be A1 e to the 1 minus W by L plus A2 e to the power W by LB. So with these two equations, we can solve for A1 and A2. Right? Is it okay? And then when we substitute the value for A1 and A2 in this equation, we will get the profile for XX whole in the base. Now this is very similar to the tutorial problem given to you, where you obtain the hyperbolic functions, right? So when you substitute, you will get delta P will be PV naught exponential QV by KT minus 1 times sine hyperbolic by sine hyperbolic. And so this is due to the base emitter bias. This is due to the base collector bias. So you can note here, if your base emitter is forward bias, this term will dominate. And if VCB is 0, if you don't apply any bias, then this term will go to 0 because e to the power 0 is 1. So this will go to 0. So that means at x equal to 0, this is the value. At x equal to W, sine 0 will become 0. So this will be 0 there. So N will be, the P will be PV naught. So delta P will be 0 basically, if you don't apply any bias. Is it okay? Can you relate with these expressions? You can consider a special case. If VCB is 0, you will only have the first term. If VB is 0, then you only have the second term. So due to first term, you will get profile like this. This will be PV naught 0, and this will be PV naught only. So that means delta PV will be 0 here. And due to the second term, you will have expressed like this. So at x equal to W, this will be sine by sine will be 1. So this will be PV naught exponential Q VCB by KT, and this will be PV naught only. And based on this slope, you can get the expression for IEP and ICP. So your IEP will be derivative at x equal to 0. ICP will be derivative at x equal to W. And if you take the derivative of sine hyperbolic, you will get the cos hyperbolic. So you can substitute here. So it becomes basically cot hyperbolic W by diffusion length. And this is 1 by sine hyperbolic, because if you substitute here, sine hyperbolic will be cos hyperbolic, and cos hyperbolic 0 will be 1. So this is 1 by sine hyperbolic. And this is at x equal to 0, it will be cos hyperbolic W by LB. Similarly, you can get ICP from here, the derivative at x equal to W. So ICP will be derivative of sine hyperbolic cos hyperbolic. So cos hyperbolic at x equal to W will be 0. So cos 0 will be 1, and sine hyperbolic cos. So this will be cos hyperbolic W by L. Right? Now, if you relate these two terms here, ICP and IEP, right? You see you have cot hyperbolic here, and you have cot hyperbolic here. So this is basically kind of reciprocal thing. Basically, if you have base emitter forward bias, then this cot hyperbolic appear for base emitter voltage, right? And if you are operating with base collector as forward bias, then this cot hyperbolic appears here, right? So the term is very much symmetric. If you remember one, you can remember the second one. So for IEP, cot hyperbolic, it will be 1 by sin hyperbolic with respect to VCB. So ICP will be 1 by sin hyperbolic, right, with respect to VEB. So it is kind of reciprocal basically. Now if we can simplify it for forward bias, if VCB is 0 or close to 0, you can ignore this one. So basically you will have IEP will be cot hyperbolic exponential VB by KT, and ICP will be 1 by sin hyperbolic exponential Q VB by KT, right? So for active mode, VB is greater than 0, VCB is less than 0, reverse bias, right? So exponential Q VC by KT will be very small, so you can ignore that part. You can only keep the exponential Q VEB by KT. And from this you can also calculate the emitter injection efficiency and the base transport factor. Now ICP by IEP is alpha T, right? And that will be only cos hyperbolic is different, right? Rest is same. Let's write the expression for emitter injection efficiency. Is IEP by IE, or you can write 1 over 1 plus IEN by IEP. Now IEN you can recall, it is a derivative of electron concentration in the emitter. IEP is the derivative of hole concentration in the base at the base emitter junction. And if you take this ratio of IEN by IEP, QA will cancel out, but D by LE and DB by LB will be there. And this is cot hyperbolic W by L at the bottom. So if you 1 by this, it becomes 10 hyperbolic W by LB. Now if you look at the expression for injection efficiency, it depends on DELB-NE divided by DB-LE-PB, right? So that means if you want to improve the injection efficiency, what you have to do? Your NE should be more, right? Now NE will be more. This is a minority carrier concentration. Now when the minority carrier concentration will be higher in the emitter, when doping is more, right? So that means the acceptance doping in emitter should be higher, and PB naught should be less. That means your doping in the base should be lower. And diffusion length, not much control. Diffusion coefficient, not much control. But this LB will be higher if D times tau is more, right? So if you have less doping, this diffusion length will be higher in the base. If you have high doping, diffusion length in emitter will be less. So this will also add up. So if you substitute IEN by IEP in the original equation, you get the expression for emitter injection efficiency. So this equation gives you design criteria for maximizing emitter injection efficiency. Similarly, you can get the expression for base transport factor, that is ICP by IEP, which is basically simply cos W by L. Now cosine W by L will be alpha should be close to 1, right? So cosine hyperbolic. How does the cosine hyperbolic vary? Somebody put something. How does the cosine hyperbolic function? Cosine hyperbolic is e to the power x plus e to the power minus x by 2, right? So if we increase the x, this cosine hyperbolic will increase. So basically both sides it actually increases. It's a symmetric function. And at x equal to 0, this is 1, right? So the minimum value is 1. So see, if you recall that cos hyperbolic, the minimum value is 1, right? So the maximum value of alpha t is 1. So alpha t cannot be more than 1, right? So it has always to be less than equal to 1 only. And it will be 1 at x equal to 0, right? So that is, if you make width 0, then alpha t will become 1. And that is not feasible, right? So what we do, we keep W much less than diffusion length. And if you combine both emitter injection efficiency and base transport to get the common base current gain, you basically multiply the two. So this get multiplied cos, you multiplied this thing, the denominator by cos hyperbolic. So cos hyperbolic plus dy sin hyperbolic. So this is the expression which again you can use to maximize the common base current gain alpha. And from alpha you can get beta. Now beta is what? Alpha over 1 minus alpha, or you can write 1 over 1 by alpha minus 1. So 1 by alpha is the denominator. So this minus 1, right? So you just put a minus 1 here, right? So from the denominator you subtract 1, you will get the common emitter current gain. So this is basically assuming only for the forward active mode, right? If you want to write a most general expression for the current, so this is a general expression, right? IE is IEN plus IEP. This you please write down somewhere. So when I ask a question, you can refer to this equation. So here IEN is due to injected electrons. IEP is basically sum of these two terms due to base emitter bias, due to base collector bias. Similarly, ICP due to base emitter bias, base collector bias, and ICN is basically a single term here. So these are the expressions, and for the BJT to function properly, the width has to be smaller than the diffusion length. Now, how small we can keep the width, or we can substitute, we can approximate the sine hyperbolic and cos hyperbolic for a narrow base width. So sine hyperbolic of x when x is small, you can write it as x only, right? And when x is small, you can cos hyperbolic will be close to 1. So when you substitute here, this sine hyperbolic x become x, so w by lv here, and this lv will cancel. So you will have w at the denominator. Same thing here, right? W at the denominator, and this will become 1. And same thing here, you will have w at the denominator. So you can simplify. So sine hyperbolic x is x, cos hyperbolic x is 1 plus x square by 2. So if you take only first term, it is basically 1. So your profile basically looks something like delta PV is written as delta PV naught minus a linear variation x by w. So this is basically, if you see the picture here, this is delta P at x equal to 0. This is delta P at x equal to W, right? So the value is given by this 2, and this is basically varying kind of linearly. Now here, of course, using this expression will not give you the base current because it is assuming just linearly. If you include this term, the zeta square by 2, this non-linear thing, then you can get basically the slight curvature here also. But this analysis is useful for charge control because if you consider total charge is the area, so for slight curvature this charge will not change, right? So from the charge you can get the base current, and this will give your IEP will be almost same as ICP. Correct? So x equal to 0, this is PV naught, and x equal to W, this is 1, so this is delta PV W. And similarly for a smaller width, you can approximate gamma and alpha. So gamma will be 10 hyperbolic, and that will be same as W by LV. And this factor basically. So if you substitute it here, it will be 1 plus 1 over 1 plus d LV NV W by dV LE NE LV, right? So this L LV and LV will cancel, right? So you'll have W by LE basically. So that means the width of the base should be much smaller compared to the diffusion length of electrons in the emitter, and the doping of the base should be much less than the doping in emitter. So these two will give you the criteria for high injection efficiency. Similarly, the transport factor 1 over cos hyperbolic, so 1 over 1 plus W by LV square half, and then for alpha t to 1, this again W has to be small. Now we cannot make W arbitrarily small because then there is no base and no base action, right? So it has to be finite value, but we keep it small compared to the LV. So one thing that we can do, we can increase the LV. We can increase the LV. So if LV can be increased by reducing the base doping. Okay, and then the total the forward bias common base current gain you can substitute here, and you can substitute the approximation for both the gamma and alpha t. You will get expression like this. So again, this alpha DC again depends on NV by NE here, W by LV square, W by LE. You can also analyze beta in terms of the same expression. Now this is the analysis for width, a smaller base width or narrow base width. So if you look here, alpha is basically this thing. So now if you calculate beta is 1 by denominator of alpha minus 1, so you will only have this term here. So this is the term here, right? So of course beta and alpha related. So again the base doping should be small for maximizing the beta, and the W by LV should be small. Now based on this current equation, we can use this current equation into a circuit model, right? So IE this is basically due to IEP, and this is due to IEN, right? And here we are assuming VCV to be 0, right? So that component will vanish. And if you want to express this IE as some I f naught exponential QV by KT. So if you take this thing out, exponential QV by KT, then what you have is basically a coefficient here, right? And that is called saturation current in forward bias, right? So now instead of you carrying on whole thing, we can define IF naught, and IF naught is the saturation current for forward bias is related to the these diffusion lengths, the minority carrier concentration, right? And this term cot hyperbolic W by LV. So we will not carry on this whole expression. Let us carry only IF naught. Similar expression we can write for IC also. So if VEB is 0, then IC can be written as IR naught exponential QCB Q VCB by KT. And where IR naught is this bulky expression, and these two are similar. IR naught and IF naught are similar, except that emitter is replaced by collector there. Now with these two equations, in one case VCB is 0, other case VEB is 0, right? So we have these two expressions. Now we can use this expression for a general case. So if VCB is not 0, then you will have IF naught VE by VKT minus 1 plus the term due to VCB, right? And that is IR naught, right? But when you look at the expression for IE, alpha factor will be there, right? So you can write IF naught plus alpha times IR naught, right? So you will have IF naught minus alpha R times IR naught. So that is basically your emitter current is, this is emitter, this is base, and this is collector. So emitter base is like a forward bias junction. Due to VEB, it will have diode characteristic. It will have diode like characteristic. So this will be IF naught exponential Q VB by KT. And similarly for IC, it will have diode like characteristic. IC will be IR naught exponential VCB by KT. And please note the direction of diode. This is minus sign, so it will be like this. So this is IE, this is IC. Okay. Now, and you can also see this is PN junction, this is PN junction. So these are the individual component due to the diode. Then there are transfer component. So due to this VCB, there is a current alpha R times IR naught, right? So this will appear here at the base emitter junction. And this alpha F times IR naught is this current which will appear here, right? So this is IF naught exponential thing. This is alpha F times IF naught. And those exponential thing. This will be IR naught. And this will be alpha R times IR naught. So this is basically a model basically that we can directly derive from solving the MC minority carrier diffusion equation. And this has a name. It's called Eber-Small model. Another thing you can notice, alpha F IF naught is same as alpha R IR naught. You can substitute the value of alpha F IF naught and alpha R IR naught. You will get the same expression. And this has to be true from reciprocity equivalence also. Now reciprocity is basically if you apply a bias at base collector, right? So the amount of current that will flow through the emitter will be same as if you apply a bias at base emitter and the amount of current that flows through the collector. Now if alpha F is designed to be high, your IF naught will be small. If alpha R is designed to be low, then IR naught will be high. So let us look at the ever small equivalent model. So this is basically a pictorial form of the equation that we have seen in previous slide. So these two equations were represented in picture form. You get this ever small model. So with this ever small model, you can do all the manipulations to get these different characteristics. So for common ways, your input will be emitter, output will be collector. So you can directly write those equations. IE is this, IF not exponent. Now we don't want to write this in terms of IF not, IR not, right? We know IE, we know IC, right? So can we express this IE and IC in terms of each other? So IC can be written as, if you look here, IC is alpha F IF minus IR naught exponential term. So if you substitute IF this term from IE, so IF naught exponential QV by KT minus 1 can be written as, this can be written as IE plus IR, IR naught and the exponential term, right? Then you substitute here, so it becomes alpha F times IE plus alpha F times alpha R, IR naught exponential this thing, and these two are combined. So this is minus sign here. So this alpha R alpha F minus 1, right? So you will get alpha F alpha R minus 1, right? And similarly you can write IE also. IE will be alpha R times IC. IE will be alpha R times IC. IC can be written as, this factor can be written as minus IC IR naught minus IC plus alpha F IF naught, right? So minus minus will become plus here. So this is alpha R IC, and then you will have alpha F times alpha R. So minus alpha F alpha R plus 1, right? So 1 minus so minus alpha times I minus alpha R times, this will be minus sign here, right? This is 1. So you will have similar expression. You will have 1 minus alpha F alpha R times IF naught exponential QVEB by KT minus 1, right? So you have the same expression here, and it's alpha pi equal to alpha R IC here, correct? So same thing you can do for common emitter. So here IC is expanded in terms of IE, and this alpha is called common base current gain, or alpha R is called common base reverse current gain. And of course your IF naught and IR naught is given by this, and alpha F is this, and you can also basically relate this alpha R in terms of alpha F times IF naught by IR naught. Usually for common emitter, you can write, it looks complicated, this is very simple, eh? You can look at this expression QVB by KT, right? So your IB is basically IB is IE minus IC. Now IE is IF naught exponential QV by KT minus 1, right? So this is IF naught minus 1, right? So this is IF naught minus 1. Then VCB by KT is alpha R times IR naught. VEB minus VEC will be VBC, right? And minus this. And then IC is basically alpha F IF naught. So this is alpha F IF naught exponential QV by KT. And then this is basically again VCB minus plus IR naught QV BC by KT. So basically it's basically the subtraction of these two terms IE minus IEC, where VBC is written as VBC is written as VBE minus VEC. Then IC can we again expect if you substitute QVB by KT in terms of IB here. So you see here QVB by KT can be written as IB minus this become plus this whole term IB plus whole term divided by this coefficient here, right? This is QVB by KT. And then you have this alpha F IF naught, right? Exponential QV by KT. And minus alpha IR naught QVEC minus VEB become VBC by KT. And those minus 1 term here. So you can write a complicated expression like this. And then based on this, you can plot it also. So you can plot for common base characteristic IE versus VEB. Now these two curves will be same whether you write IE versus VEB or IEB versus VEB. Only the magnitude will be different. IEB will be less and IE will be more. And similarly the output characteristic IC versus VCB. So whenever VCB is not forward bias, you can expect a constant current for a given IE. Right? Now this is all basically from the expression, the equations we have written. When we consider a practical PN junction diode, there will be slight difference. So that we will discuss in next class. So similarly, you can if you type these equations in MATLAB, you can get these characteristics. And similarly, you can get for common emitter IEB versus VEB and IC versus VEC. Now VEC actually start at slightly around 0.1 or 0.2 because it is a difference of VEB and VBC, right? So and if you notice the VBC here, it has a slightly negative voltage, right? That's the only difference. And again, the current is constant. Again, in real diode, there will be some differences and that we will discuss in next class. So I think that's all. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. If you have any question, we can discuss. Do you have a question?